You know that moment when you're deep in Xcode, wrestling with some weird SwiftUI issue, and you just pause man, I wish Xcode could just read my mind right now. That wish might be closer than we think. Hey, I'm Daniel. I build iOS apps solo using SwiftUI, Xcode, and AI tools like Cursor, Claude, and GPT. And on this channel, I like to walk through the stuff we all face as indie devs, the fun parts, the frustrating parts, the ways we try to stay efficient without losing our minds. So, let's talk about something big that might be coming to Xcode, and why I think it could change the way we build. The short version, Apple might be working on their own version of Cursor, and I don't mean a clone. I mean something built directly into Xcode, powered by Claude, and aimed squarely at giving developers a real AI assistant inside their IDE. Let's rewind for a second. Last year at WWDC 2024, Apple introduced a feature called Swift Assist. It was pitched as an AI coding companion. You'd type something like, convert this function to async, await, or add a map showing the user's location, and it would just handle it. It sounded cool, but yeah, it never shipped. Not in any of the Xcode 16 updates, not even in the betas. It was kind of a ghost feature, no public explanation, just silence. Then in early May, Mark Gurman, probably the most plugged in Apple reporter there is, dropped a Bloomberg article that changed everything. I'll put it up on screen here. He said, Apple's now testing a new build of Xcode internally that integrates Claude Sonnet, that's Anthropic's large language model, directly into the IDE. And what it does is kind of wild. You can write natural language prompts like you would with GPT or Cursor, and ask it to generate Swift code, refactor functions, or even debug issues. It's a full chat interface inside Xcode, not just a smart autocomplete, but a real assistant that knows what project you're in, what frameworks you're using, what errors you're running into. That's a big shift. The Verge confirmed the story the same day, and they added that the feature might not go public right away. Apple's still testing internally. They're not fully decided yet. So this could be one of those soft launch things that we hear about in June, but don't get until the fall or later. 9to5Mac also picked it up, and they called out something I've been thinking too. The dev frustration is real. We were promised Swift Assist last year, and now it feels like Apple is either pivoting or quietly rewriting the story. So what does this actually mean for us, especially if you're building solo or using tools like Cursor and Claude already? I've been using Cursor daily, like every session. I use it to build out SwiftUI scaffolds, fix layout issues, convert logic, name things better, you name it. But even with that flow dialed in, I'm always bouncing between tools. Cursor for prompts, Claude in a browser for big picture conversations, back to Xcode for previews, Notion for docs, Figma for layout. It works, but it's kind of fragile. You lose context easily, you copy paste a lot. And when the code gets even slightly weird, like a Combine publisher chain or Swift data not syncing properly, AI can only help so much if it doesn't really understand your project. Now imagine that same Claude level help is right there in Xcode. It sees your files, it knows which SDKs you're using, it can help you refactor and then show you the change in preview. That's next level stuff. And because it's Apple, they can go deeper than any third-party tool. They can tie into the compiler, into the build system, into interface builder. They can make it feel like the AI is part of Xcode, not just bolted onto the side. You might be able to highlight a chunk of code, click explain this, and get a human-readable summary that's actually accurate and up to date with Swift best practices, or type make this view work with Swift data, and it knows which wrappers to use, what fetch requests to run, how to connect your models. That's the dream, right? But, and this is a big but, I'm trying not to get too excited too fast because Apple is Apple. They move slow, they like polish, they don't always give us control. And that's something I care about. Right now with GPT, I can create a whole custom instruction set for each project. I can steer it. I can train it on how I want to work. Same with Claude. I give it structure, style, tone. That flexibility is what makes it useful. If Apple gives us a Claude-powered assistant but locks it down, no custom prompting, no session memory, no personality, then yeah, it'll help. But it might not feel like a real dev partner. Also, we don't know the pricing. We don't know if it'll work for all devs or only paid accounts, or if it'll even show up at WWDC. So where I land right now is cautiously optimistic, because if this thing delivers and it really integrates with the Xcode stack, I mean, for SwiftUI alone, that's a huge unlock. SwiftUI is powerful, but it's full of subtle rules, state versus binding, view builders, animations. It's a lot to juggle. If the assistant helps navigate that in real time, that's worth something. And if you're building solo, that's the kind of tool that lets you move faster and feel more confident. Not just, does this compile, but is this the right way to do it on iOS 19? Like always, I'll be watching WWDC closely. And if this thing shows up, you can bet I'll be testing it right away and sharing what I find. In the meantime, if you want to see how I'm using AI tools today to plan and build apps, I've got a full video walking through that. It's my pre-code workflow, the stuff I do before I ever open Xcode. And if you've got thoughts on this rumored assistant, or you're already using AI in your workflow, drop a comment or DM me on Instagram. Always curious what other indie devs are seeing, trying, and building with. All right, that's it for now. Peace.